Before we jump into today's show, I just wanted to talk to you guys about our Survivor contest. It is now live. If you do want to join, it's going to be $10 per entry. You can enter up to 5 times with the chance at taking home nearly $3,000 as the winner. If you guys don't know how a Survivor contest works, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is continue to pick NFL winners week in and week out. The catch is you can't pick the same team twice. So say me being a big Patriots fan. If I like the Patriots in week 1, I can take them. If they win, great. I advance to week number 2, but now I can't take the Patriots for the rest of the season. $10 per entry. Like I said, you can enter up to 5 times if you want to have different teams going each and every week. Go ahead and check it out, guys. Link down in the description, as well as the pinned comment. $10 with the chance to win $3,000. Sounds pretty good to me. Join the Guy Boston Sports Survivor contest today. Link down below. Let's go ahead and jump into today's show. All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday, August 27th. We got a full MLB slate to dive into in today's video, like we always do. I'm going to dive into each and every one of these games. I'll give you my prediction on the side. I'll give you my prediction on the total. We'll talk about any other plays like player props that we like within the game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye down on the pinned comment of this video. That'll take you to all of my final plays if that does interest you. If you do want to fade me, it's absolutely free down in the pinned comment. I mentioned it's August 27th. That is my dad's birthday, so happy birthday, Pops. Love you, and happy birthday if you are watching this. Let's get a happy birthday, Pops, down in the comments there. But in terms of yesterday, pretty good night. A 4-2 night, worthy of a cha-ching, simply for the reason that a lot of these plays did not look like they were going our way. The Royals had to come back in the 8th and 9th inning. The Diamondbacks and Brewers probably our least sweaty play of the night. Angels and Rangers kind of had to sweat out. The Yankees were losing 1-0 for the first few innings of that game. I will say the Phillies, man, they may be heading towards the DMB graveyard pretty dang soon. We have 3 players on there right now: Joe Adell, Zach Gallen, and Dansby Swanson. But man, oh man, these Phillies just seem to keep bleeding death by 1,000 paper cuts when we seem to roll with them. But that said, we've definitely made some coin with them this year. And then the Padres put up 5 in the first inning, so that one does not come through. Speaking of not coming through, unfortunately, man, the ride of the day from Never Fade Brick. Gotta drop the womp womp on him. Had Kyle Bradish under 4.5 Ks. I liked the spot. Bradish making his first start of the season, right? 10 strikeouts. He went off. The ride of the day tracker is now updated. Never Fade Brick's play was an ultimate L, but nonetheless, I still think it was a good spot, a good chance at some plus money. If you guys don't know what the ride of the day is, it's simple. Use that hashtag ride of the day down in the comments. I jump on board with one person's play each and every day. Give you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. If you win, we continue to roll and ride with your plays. You get thrown on the tracker. If you do lose, unfortunately, like we did today, we got to drop the womp womp. Rules are rules. No one wants to shout out a loss, right? So get those hashtag ride of the days down in the comments. Let's go ahead and dive into these games. Guys, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. Let's get rocking. First game up is one of our winners from yesterday. We had the Yankees -1. That one comes through. They win 5-1. Today we have Max Fried on the mound going up against Cade Cavalli, who has really had some bright spots, but I would say, not going to lie, mostly meh from him. I mean, especially on the road so far this season. So not a guy that I'm willing to back. He also definitely struggles against right-handed bats. Judge, Stanton, some of the guys in the lineup, Stanton especially, who's just been on an absolute tear lately. For me, this is going to be a spot in which the Yankees probably come out and put up a decent amount of runs. That bullpen I still don't trust in the Washington side of things, so go get your 5 runs, Yankees. Stanton over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, I definitely don't mind. We're going to see a lot of fastballs, and as well as a curve/knuckle curve from Cavalli. Both those pitches, Stanton is absolutely raking right now. And like I said, I don't mind his look at walks. He's got a 8.2% walk rate against righties, a 9.6 walk rate on the road this year. And the Yankees, against righties, last 30 days, walking the second most in baseball. So lines up for a probably tough spot for him to be able to locate the zone. I think these batters are going to grind out the young kid. So yeah, give me his over in walks. We don't have a line for that as of right now. I'm recording this late the night prior, actually technically the morning of 12:50 a.m. But if it's 1.5, might be something that we kind of look into. Next up, we have the Guards taking on Tampa Bay in that last game. Guardians bounce back after a really poor game in game number 1. They win 3-0, so that offense didn't truly go off, but the Rays came right back down to earth. After the Rays scored 10, 7, 9 in 3 straight games, 0 runs against the Guardians. Where I'm looking at in this one, we have Slate and Drew Rasmussen on the mound. I think both these guys can get through the order one time, so I like that first 3 under 2.5. In terms of Slate, I really do like it. That's probably the pitcher that I worry about to some degree. He's been a little up and down lately, but on the season, when at home, he's hit the under when he's pitching, right? In, I believe it's 6 of 8 starts at home. So really like the spot there. Drew Rasmussen has definitely had his struggles on the road in terms of the first 3 innings, but just because the Guardians won yesterday, I don't think that we can really sit here and say that they are a prime offense and they should be looking to absolutely get to him, right? I don't think so. He saw them last year, didn't allow any runs, but realistically what I'm looking at is the fact that the Guardians, they scored their first 3 runs in 4 days in that game number 2 of the series. So I like a low scoring game here. I would trust the better pitcher and the better bullpen in Rasmussen and the Rays. I don't think it's going to be a very high scoring game, so I don't see any issue with taking that underdog. But again, that first 3 under 2.5, as well as the first 5 under 4.5 are probably the 2 main things that I'm taking a peek at. But I also don't mind a few different player prop unders in this one. We haven't really fully dug in yet, but I think Ciccone can pitch fairly well here. And I'm also going to say that Rasmussen should be kind of a all signs go in terms of him pitching well, right? He's been pitching really well all year. He's a good pitcher going against a pretty damn bad offense. Next up, we have Miami, couldn't really say that one. Miami taking on the Braves. Joey Wentz on the mound for the Braves. He had a couple decent outings in a row before getting kind of hit up through 3 1/3 against the Mets, but he's going up against Ryan Gusto, who really hasn't been all that great. Gusto earlier this year, 6 innings pitched, 3 earned, 8 strikeouts, 2 walks against the Braves. That's not all that bad, but Joey Wentz in that very same series had a really good outing. 5 1/3, 1 earned, against this Miami team with just 4 hits allowed. This is a Miami squad that's definitely struggling against lefties. Last 30 days, just a 195 average, an on-base of 277, OPS of 638. I think I'm going to lean towards the Braves to get the job here, get the job done here. I also don't mind paying a little bit of juice for them to go out there and score 4. Don't mind them up against this Miami bullpen, right? And throw in the fact that we're going to see a lot of fastballs out of Ryan Gusto. That's one of Atlanta's better pitches as of right now. So give me them on the money line, but also a sneak peek, or a small peek, I should say, at their team total over 3.5. I don't mind it if you want to spin it for plus money for the 4.5, but that seems to be a big number for them lately. They've hit 6 of their last 10 going to the 4 runs, but then I think it's like 4 of their last 10 scoring that 5th run. So maybe a key number for the Braves, but ultimately I could sense somewhat of a failing of Ryan Gusto tomorrow. So I'll take the Braves as well as their team total under. Team total over. Let me make that clear. All right, real quick, guys, before we do move on with the rest of the games, I want to talk to you about Chalkboard and their unbeatable deal right now. With the link down in the description, as well as the pinned comment, and you need to make sure to use code GUYBOSTON. Just for signing up, they're going to give you a free $20. No deposit necessarily. What an absolute deal. What an absolute steal, literally. Go and check it out. If you are highlighted on this state map right here and your state is highlighted, why are you not going and taking advantage and getting a free $20? I'm telling you, Chalkboard is absolutely awesome. Obviously, they have the normal DFS properties in which you pick more or less based on player set projections. But what's really cool is they now have game options. You can take a money line, you can take a run line, you can take a total, add that to your entry. Really cool stuff. So go get your free $20. Play on Chalkboard. I promise you, you will love it. Link down below in the description, as well as the pinned comment. And again, to get that free 20, you need to make sure you do put in code GUYBOSTON. Now let's jump back into these games. All right, next up, we had the Mariners taking on the Padres. So in game 1 of this series, we had the Padres money line. That doesn't come through. Game number 2, we had the first 3 under 2.5, and the Pods put up 5 in the first inning. So big yikes there. We deserve a womp womp for how we've called this series so far. Today, it looks like we're going to have Brian Wu on the bump going up against Yu Darvish. Padres at this number is probably still what I'd ultimately look at, simply because I think that this is at the very least a 50-50 matchup. And for plus 125, it just seems like the spot to look at for me. Now, does that mean that I'm all over this one and really absolutely love it? not so much. I can see why, the Padres are underdogs. Brian Woo's obviously a very good pitcher, and his pitch mix could be pretty damn good against this team, right? He throws a lot of fastballs. That's been a pitch that San Diego's been struggling with, so I get it. And Darvish has been nothing to write home about ultimately. So to me, yeah, I fully understand why someone may be looking at, the Mariners here, but I think the Padres at that price is kind of somewhat of a deal. And throw in the fact that Darvish does have good numbers against this Mariners roster. 110 plate appearances against, 36.4% K rate, just a 2.7% walk rate, an expected batting average against of 215, and an xWOBA of 278. So to me, again, at plus 124, it's probably worth taking a peek at the Padres. They do ultimately end up pulling out yesterday's game in a close one. I believe they scored late in the game, right? Because the Mariners, all their innings came in one inning, or all their runs came in one inning, and then the Padres had to bounce back, and they ended up winning it by one. Maybe they build a little bit of momentum there and take this one. I definitely think that this could be a final play, just because we're getting plus 124 right now at the time of recording. Again, this is at 1 a.m. now on technically 8:27. We'll see what this number is, by tomorrow, but we may jump a little early at that. We shall see. Keep an eye on the final plays found in the pinned comment, like I always tell you guys. And I didn't mention, put this back up here, I like the under as well. I think at least Darvish or Brian Woo, one of these guys, will have a very good game. We've seen two good offensive performances from both teams so far. Now it's getaway day. I could easily see this one being somewhat of a sleepwalk game for one of the offenses. Fingers crossed if we roll with the Padres, it's not them. But nonetheless, I think that at least Darvish or Woo ends up having a good game, leading us to a little bit of an under as well. All right, Orioles taking on the Red Sox. I've loved this series so far, right? The Red Sox getting the best of the Orioles 4-3 2 days ago, and then yesterday 5-0. Lucas Giolito pitched 8 innings, and it really wasn't that Kyle Bradish looked all that piss poor, you know what I mean? Like, he struck out 10 guys. In this spot, looks like Dietrich's end is going to be the opener, and we may see kind of a bullpen day from the Orioles. Brian Bayo is going to be pitching here for the Red Sox. Brian Bayo's been pretty good, right? I mean, he has the one bad start against San Diego, but outside of that, even with that, 5 2/3 with 5 earned in that game, in his last 5, he still has a sub-2 ERA. So for me, this is fairly simple. I like the Red Sox. I don't necessarily mind the over. I do think that at some point the Orioles offense will step up. They had been playing fairly decent, heading into this series, right? Against Houston, 3-8-7. Before that, they had 2-4-8, 12-4. We really haven't seen that offense step up, and we've seen, obviously Lucas Giolito pitch well against them. That bullpen day with Dick Fitz and Bernardino, they pitched pretty well against them. Brian Bayo, I do trust to some degree, but he definitely has had some ups and downs. Now, nothing too crazy, but some ups and downs with this Orioles team. And I'll throw in the fact that, just looking at our dashboard here, he's going to throw a ton of sinkers. This is a Baltimore team that's hitting the sinker really, really well. Now, most of that success is coming from the bottom of the lineup, which is great. Holiday, Jackson, Henderson, and Mountcastle, not necessarily the hitters, the sinker hitters, but still, nonetheless, I look at this and say, okay, at some point, being a top half of the league team against righties last 30 days and hitting his pitch really good while he struggles a little bit on the road and against lefties, decent amount of lefties, at some point there's a recipe for runs in this one, right? So I'm going to lean towards the Red Sox, but that over I'm starting to like a little bit more. I do think that this Orioles offense has a few runs that they have kind of bottlenecked and have left in the tank here. All right, Blue Jays taking on the Twins. We're going to get Lauer on the mound for Toronto. 1.6 ERA over his last 5 starts. Obviously looking very, very good. Kind of career reliever turn starter. Going up against Simeon Woods Richardson, who we haven't seen in about a month. In his last 5 starts, wasn't terrible, 1.6 ERA, but his last 2 starts, a little worrisome, and honestly not exactly pitching too deep into games, which would call for some concern here, as this Toronto offense is very good and the Minnesota bullpen not so much. So I'm going to lean towards the Jays. Don't necessarily love the price we're getting. Maybe it's Blue Jays -1 if we need to get there. I kind of like the fact that the Blue Jays ultimately ended up losing a game yesterday, because maybe it's a bounce back spot and a chance for them to win the series. That's nice. But I also don't mind the idea of them going out there and scoring 5 runs off of Woods Richardson for a few innings, and then obviously heading into facing that bullpen, which is not all that great. So Blue Jays -1 probably could be a look. Again, they're a little pricey right now. I mean, over on Novig, one of the exchanges, you can get them for -165. That might be something to get in on early, but if you can't get anything in the -160s, I don't hate the -1 Unfortunately, you do end up sacrificing and getting that chance for a push rather than a win with the money line. But still, I think this Blue Jays team bounces back just fine on the back of Lauer. I didn't even mention how this Twins team cannot seem to hit lefties. Check out our dashboard here. You can see everything's pretty much not looking all that great. We're going to get a lot of fastballs out of Lauer as well. And check that out. Their fastball, second worst last 30 days. He pitches to contact sometime. I would say a decent amount of times as well. And this is a team that is not lifting the ball against lefties either. So probably a decent spot to fade the Twins and back this Blue Jay squad one way, shape, or form. Some way, shape, or form. One way or another. I just mixed two sayings together. All right, Mets, Phillies. We've taken the Phillies in both games of this series so far and come up shy in both of them. A 13-3 loss game one. And then yesterday, I mean, the Phillies had an early lead. I think it was 2 or 3-0. Mets battle back. Then the Phillies, by a home run by Harrison Bader, tie it up in, I think it was either the eighth inning. And they ultimately lose in the ninth there. Duran ends up blowing it. So, unfortunately, yeah, we've lost now twice on this Phillies team. I kind of like the idea of going back to them here just because you're getting such plus money, but you're kind of fading a pitcher that seems to be pretty good overall right now, right? There's Nolan McLean, 2 starts under his belt, and he, like I said, has looked very, very good. Now, as against the 2 teams he's played have been Atlanta and Seattle. This Philadelphia team, obviously a pretty good offense, and they're batting righties really, really well right now. Last 30 days, number 1 team in terms of average, number 1 teams in terms of slugging. So I'm going to say, you know what, go out there and score your runs, Phillies, and then maybe we have Taijuan Walker on the other side. Taijuan Walker, not exactly, I just had his name 2 different ways. Walker, not exactly the creme de la creme of pitchers right now, especially on the road, and, you know, against lefties as well. The top 2 guys in that order right now, Soto and Lindor, will be from the left side because Lindor's a switch. I see some runs out of the Mets too, so give me an over 9. If there's an 8.5 out there, I would jump on that as well. Mets bullpen's going to be fairly taxed, right? You also have the Philadelphia bullpen, who should be fairly taxed. Even, you know, they pitched a few guys today, and then Duran even blew it. So, yeah, to me, I'm taking a peek at that over. I do like the Phillies again because you're getting such good plus money. Like, this kid could be due for a bad start, and the Phillies at plus 140 might be something I want to sign up for. But I do like the idea of runs. I just want to keep my eye out for an 8.5 in this one. I think that's going to be something that I take a peek at. White Sox taking on the Royals. I do feel a little lucky to cash the Royals money line play from yesterday. They were losing by a bunch of runs for the majority of that game, but nonetheless, they do come through and cash for us and win that game. What was that? Ended up being like 5-4, I believe, and they scored all 5 runs in like the 8th and 9th inning. Today, I'm going right back to the Royals. We do have on the mound, looks like it's going to be Ryan Bergert. I really do like him. This is a guy that I think has a lot of potential. He's going to throw the fastball slider combo. That doesn't scare me against this White Sox team. He's going up against Aaron Savale. Aaron Savale is not a pitcher that I think is all that tremendous. He does have some fine numbers against Kansas City, the roster in the past. I will give him that. But ultimately, this is a Kansas City team that is starting to hit righties fairly well, and Savale's last 3 starts, 3 1/3 against Cleveland, 9 earned. Cleveland, not a good offense. Kansas City, just a while ago, 6 innings, 3 earned. They just saw him, right? And then Minnesota, not a good offense, 5 innings, 4 earned. So I think this could be a decent spot to kind of fade Aaron Savale and Kansas City go out there and put some runs up. Bobby Witt Jr., also a guy that I would consider overall. And then I guess I don't have on the graphic here, but I don't mind the idea of Savale in terms of his over in walks. Now, this is a Kansas City team that's working a lot of walks recently, and at home, Savale's really, really struggled, and he struggled to find the zone. He's hit the over here in 7 of his last 10. Yes, in his last 2 games against Kansas City, including the one recently, he only had 1 walk, but I do think for the plus money, you got a little bit of value here, so I don't mind the idea of Aaron Savale over in walks. In fact, I should probably add that one in here just because I think it's worth taking a peek at. So we'll throw in Savale over 1.5 walks. Now let's fix this graphic, and that's what we'd look at. And Bobby Witt Jr., I just like the pitch mix overall, but yeah, 4 plays that definitely could be final plays. If I had to say that the 2 that I like the most would be the Royals, and for whatever reason, I think I've talked myself into Aaron Savale walking 2 guys in this game. We'll see. Keep an eye, like I always tell you guys, on the final plays. Next up, Brewers taking on the Diamondbacks. We have Quinn Priester on the mound for the Brewers, going up against Ryan Nelson here for the Diamondbacks. Two good pitching names, I'll definitely give you that. Brewers coming off of a 9-8 win in game number 2, and in game number 1 a 5-7 or 7-5 win. We've seen 2 overs already in this series, and I don't really see any reason why we can't go right back to it. I don't like the late innings for either one of these pitching staffs in the bullpen, so yeah, I think both offenses can put up some runs, even though we do have 2 really good pitchers. Now, check this out. The reason we end up leaning towards the Brewers is due to this. We're going to see a ton of fastballs out of Ryan Nelson, right? Okay, the Brewers hit the fastball, we know that. But what about this, right? You have 2 pitches that Arizona is absolutely struggling against, the sinker and the slider. That's going to make up 27.9, so pretty much 28 and 43%. Add those together, what do you have? 70, I mean, geez, I'm no mathematician, but it's about 71% or something like that of pitches, right? That he's going to throw that he should have no trouble getting by this Arizona squad. So to me, yeah, the Brewers probably worth a look, but I could still see the bullpen coming in and having some issues. And same thing with the Arizona. Like, I think that with both these offenses and the late inning pitching, I feel like an over is never dead. So I do lean towards the over, but the Brewers definitely have my eye right now. That's for sure. Real quick, I wanted to let you guys know how you can get access to the dashboard here that you keep seeing. GuyBostonSports.com. Head over to the members area and head to MLB dashboard. You get each and every game, each and every day broken out in a visual format. Pitching data, bullpen data, batting data, even player batting data. We have some team trends at the top as well. Go ahead and check it out, guys. $6.99 per month. That is it for all of this information. Perfect place to start your research process. And what I love about it is the fact that we are continuing to add to it and build this thing. I know it could already be a finished product. I get it. We get those comments all the time, but I'm still putting hours and hours of effort into this each and every day to make this thing even better. So go ahead and check it out. If you like the downloadable version, we have that at the bottom of the screen as well. You can download the PDF and all that. So go ahead and check it out, guys. Again, that is GuyBostonSports.com, members area, MLB dashboard. You need to have this thing if you are serious about getting the most information in the most optimized way every single day. So go check it out, guys. GuyBostonSports.com. Head to the members area. This series, man, I still just can't seem to get a read on it. Haven't really tried. I just not much interested for whatever reason in the Cardinals, in the Pirates. Today we have Sonny Gray going up against Carmen Madinsky. I think that that's a huge advantage to obviously the St. Louis team, but at times the St. Louis offense looks like it's absolutely dead, like it did yesterday, right? So I'm going to say I lean towards the Cardinals and their team total over, but I really don't think this is going to be something that we get down. This is probably these 2 games back-to-back in this kind of chunk of series have been 2 of the least, I should say, that we've looked into, because realistically just haven't loved the pitching. Oviedo versus McGreevy, then Keller versus Palante. Nothing that I'm absolutely loving, right? So I'm going to say Cardinals team total over, but I would take it with a grain of salt. Guys, if you made it this far in the video, go ahead and comment 22 and let me know if you guys feel like you get these matchups from day to day too, where it's like, I don't even really see where to begin looking into this game and finding an edge. Like, yes, maybe this game alone could be the spot because Sonny Gray is such an obvious advantage here, but you even throw in the fact that, he hasn't looked good in his last couple starts and the juice is heavy on the Cardinals. Like, I just can't seem to get behind anything. So let me know, comment 22 and let me know in the comments, do you guys have these struggle games where you look at it and you're like, really having a tough time finding the edge or finding anything that we like here, which is a good thing to acknowledge. Forcing something's always bad. Texas taking on the Angels here. Jacob Latz on the bump going up against Jack Kachanowicz. Quick one for me here, much like we just talked about with the Cardinals and the Pirates. I don't think that I actually get to either one of these spots because I'm not all that enthralled by them, but I don't mind the Rangers. I think that they have a pitching advantage, both starter and bullpen, and an offensive advantage to some degree. But I don't mind the under because you're going to see Kachanowicz throw a ton of sinkers. Right now, that is the pitch that you want to throw. This Texas team really struggling against the sinker. And you also have Jacob Latz throwing a lot of fastballs and sliders. Those are 2 pitches that this Angels team might struggle with. So I think the Rangers win somewhat of a low-scoring game here. Yes, we did have the over in this game yesterday, and yes, it did cash. 7-3 win for Texas. But to me, way different pitching here ultimately, and pitch mix. Corbin ended up looking pretty good, but Kikuchi, we called that one pretty damn well. I think this one probably goes the other way. I don't think we see a ton of runs here, but again, take it with a grain of salt. Not exactly one of my favorite matchups on the board today. I'll be transparent saying that. All right, Astros Rocky. Guys, if you're not aware, we do a daily parlay video over on the second channel. Just search More Guy Boston Sports. It is our second channel, and we post a parlay of the day. We had a 4-leg parlay that was looking pretty damn good today, we had the Astros money line in there. Come on now. This Astros team, what ended up being the final score there? 6-1. All I would say today with Framber Valdez at home on the bump, I would take a peek at the Astros as some sort of a parlay piece. But man, oh man, did they burn us yesterday. And they're going to be pretty heavily juiced. But I do still think that they don't drop 2 in a row to this Rockies team. So hate to give you 3 games in a row now, right? With the Angels, Texas, as well as the Pirates and the Cardinals. And now the Rockies and Houston, where there's not much zhuzh that we're giving you. But these are 3 matchups in a row that I'm not all that thrilled about. But I do think that the Astros at least bounce back with, Framber Valdez on the bump against a Rockies team. So crazy that the Rockies got to Hunter Brown, but ultimately, it is what it is, right? Give me Houston in some sort of parlay piece. Maybe that'll be in the parlay tomorrow or today. All right, Dodgers taking on the Reds. It's been all Dodgers so far in the series, 7-0, 6-3 win as well. Today, we're going to have Nick Lodolo on the bump, who is coming back now. He's been very, very good on the road this year. Shohei Ohtani is going to be his opposition. Shohei's going to throw a lot of fastballs and sliders. Cincinnati doesn't hit the fastball, but they do hit the slider pretty damn well. I do think that Shohei can still kind of pitch fairly good against this Reds team, but I'm also going to give Lodolo credit. Now, I do admit, I'll sound the psycho alert alarm. It's a little crazy to lean towards the Reds here, right? But for plus 185 odds with Lodolo on the bump, I can't necessarily justify the other side with the Dodgers at that minus price tag. So it's really just because of the odds. I think there is some value in the Reds here. Like if I had to price them, they'd probably be a little bit closer to plus 135. So that's, 50 cents of value that I'm seeing. Does that mean that I think the Reds are going to win? No, I just do think that there should be some, value in that price you're getting. But I think that Lodolo could pitch well. I think Shohei could pitch well. And there are some 9s hanging out there right now in terms of a total. So if Lodolo is able to go out there and do his job, then yeah, maybe we take a peek at an under 9. I do have concern about both these bullpens. So I guess a pivot could be the first 5 under. Trust Lodolo, trust Shohei, and take it from there. But to me, that under, if we can get that 9 when most of the consensus out here is 8.5, that might be a decent look. Right now, if we do look at the first 5 under, we'd probably have to kind of pigeonhole ourselves into a 4.5, which isn't too terrible at minus 120. What about a first 3 under? That could also be something that I consider. Minus 122. Lodolo this season on the road has been really good. 75% of his games he's hit the under. And Shohei, well, yikes, at home, 4 of his 5 starts have gone over. That's tough because the Dodgers are going to be the team scoring a lot of those runs. So we'll see. This is obviously kind of a confusing one. I'm kind of ping-ponging right now. Giants taking on the Cubs. Giants end up pulling the win out yesterday. Verlander goes 6 innings in a 5-2 win. Today we have Colin Ray on the mound, who has a 2-flat ERA over his last 5 starts. He's looked pretty good, right? He's going up against Carson Whisenhunt, who has also looked okay, but just not pitching too deep into games early on here in his career. Now, the Cubs against lefties are actually slightly better against lefties than they are righties within the last 30 days. And the San Francisco team does have a lot of righties in the lineup, which the Cubs pitcher, Colin Ray, is a lot better against righties. So for me, it's going to be taking a peek at the Cubs. Almost like the idea of their team total over instead of the full game over, but I do think that we could see some damage done from the Cubs, as well as what if Ray does kind of snap back and not look all that great. He has 1 start against this Giants team earlier this year, back when he wasn't pitching all that well. 5 innings pitched, 4 earned, 2 walks. And then the time before that, which was last year, 4 innings pitched, 11 hits, 10 earned runs, 3 home runs. So he doesn't have the best track record against this Giants squad. Maybe we see some runs out of both teams in this one today. So yeah, a 5-4 game gets this job done. I like that. I like a 5-4, 6-4, 6-3 type win for the Cubs in this one. A's taking on the Tigers. The A's just continue to get things done. I do think that the Tigers probably end up pulling this one out. They have a big pitching advantage, in my opinion. Casey Mize as the projected starter right now against Luis Morales. But I don't think that I can knock this A's offense, right? Like, they're just doing their thing out there and putting up some decent numbers. I mean, their last few games, 7, 8, 4. Then they had a little stretch of 2 and 2. 8, 4, 6, 5, 7. They're scoring runs. They're at home this year, and they didn't start the year out. Remember that this year they're averaging now 4.6 runs per game at home. Casey Mize, I'm sure, can do some damage to them and suppress them a little bit, but even still, I expect the Tigers to be able to hit Morales as well as that bullpen. So I think the Tigers hopefully can, Casey Mize can do enough while still allowing some runs, because I do like the over. But at the same time, over in the Tigers, maybe if the Tigers, get to a better price right now, they are, I think, minus 130. If they get inside that minus 115-ish range, it's probably a go for me, because again, I do think they have a pretty decent advantage overall, and it's just been like all A's all the time, but hopefully the pitch mix for Mize is a little bit better. But yeah, nonetheless, I'm going to lean towards the Tigers, but I don't think that Mize is going to go out there and deal. Also take a peek at an over. And guys, it's going to wrap it up for today's show. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button, hit that subscribe button down below. Really do appreciate you tuning in. Really, really do appreciate it, guys. And we got so much football content on the horizon. We're about to start working our asses off. It happens every year at this time, but I'm so excited for it. Should have mentioned that H2H also drops today, the show that I do with Tasso, so you guys will see that on the channel. But other than that, guys, nothing else from me. I'll catch you guys in the next one, all right? Peace out.